question. I think his breath would maybe scare them off. One of the reasons why he's the best player in the comp. What's up YouTube? I'm Nick Daicos and today I'll be answering some of your questions. Let's get into it. If you're an NBA GM, which team would you want to be in charge of and who would you trade for? Probably say OKC, a nice young list. And I'd trade to keep Josh Giddey and get him back from the Bulls, back to the Thunder where he belongs. What's your ideal position on the ground you'd like to play all the time? If it was up to me, probably a split between midfield and full forward. I love playing there, but Jamie and the forwards kick me out all the time. So if you're watching Bobby Hill, he doesn't like having me down there either. So I'll probably be stuck in the midfield, which I do enjoy a lot too, but getting forward's nice and fun.
Ball ping-ponging, Nick Daicos, right foot snap, he's kicked the goal! Daicos has kicked the goal!
Which player did you admire when you were young? Always admired Pendles, obviously, from here, and another one probably from another team, Surioli, just the way he could impact games with few possessions and always seemed to play massive games on the biggest stage. So he was someone I love watching growing up and always tried to play like.
And then kicks to centre half forward, neat looking kick, oh yes! Suru takes a special and goes bang!
What job would you have if you didn't play footy? It's a good question. A lot of what I do does revolve around footy, so I'd love to be in coaching of some sort, but maybe something in property development or something like. I had a year between school and footy and worked in property development for a year, so that was a great experience. If you're in a zombie apocalypse and you could have only one teammate to fight beside you, who would it be and why? Probably Geordie De Goey. I think his breath would maybe scare them off, so yeah, big Jords. What's the best thing about playing at Collingwood? Yeah, very fortunate playing at Collingwood. I know a lot of the players that sort of come across from other teams are sort of surprised how big of a club it is and how much of an impact we can have abroad. And I think every week running out in front of the Collingwood Army, they draw massive crowds to games week in, week out, whether we're travelling or playing at the MCG. So it's super special and every game's super important. So it's great to have their support. Who do you consider in the AFL today to be your biggest inspiration on and off the field and why? Probably one of my teammates, Scotty Pendlebury, just the amazing career he's had, how consistent he's been and sort of the humility he carries every single day. You wouldn't know that he's an absolute champion. He's just so humble and as I said, he's been so consistent for such a long period of time. So every player I think wants to play for as long as they can and he's been able to do that, which is quite inspiring. Mick said, why did you follow Carlton? It was a bit of a long story, but I loved Mark Murphy growing up. Then I think it was like around 2009 when I was going to a few Carlton games and started supporting them. But as soon as 2010 rolled around and the Pies were going well, I was pretty quick to jump ship and get back to the Pies, which was fortunate, obviously, with the way 2010 panned out. If you could have anyone in our team from another club, who and why? Big Phil Thorpe at the moment's dominating and he's a big presence, so a big key forward like that, or maybe Matty Rao, if we could get him somehow, it'd be amazing. He's inside ball and I think he'd make life easy for a lot of us. Yeah, those would be a couple players that would be very handy for us for sure. What's the toughest matchup you've had against another player? Sometimes when we play the Dogs, occasionally you get caught on Bont and he's obviously so damaging, you don't want him to get the ball in time and space or he'll cut you up, but then even at stoppage he's a really hard matchup for someone like myself that's a little bit shorter in height, obviously being so tall but so agile. Bont's special and one of the reasons why he's the best player in the comp.
We talked about him putting his club on the back and he's going to do it again.
What do you like to read and watch apart from sport? It's a good question. Currently watching a binge series called The Jackal. I think it's The Jackal, and that's keeping me occupied at the moment. What's any advice you'd have for young people who want to grow up in a footy career? I think just enjoy it as much as you can. Early days, obviously playing with your friends at local footy, but then also school footy. It's a really special time. Doesn't need to be too serious too early, and then as you sort of grow up and your aspirations become clearer of what level of footy you want to play at, just work really hard as you can, but as I said, keep that enjoyment and that lightness in the game. That's why we all play at the start, and I think that's when we all play our best footies, when we're enjoying it. So just enjoy it and work as hard as you can. Thanks for watching. For more behind the scenes access, make sure you like and subscribe. Go Pies.